From there, we got Daniel Garcia taking on Bryan Danielson, the main event. I had mixed feelings about this match because I got taken out of it like through some of the I well, first before that, I thought the work was excellent throughout it. Aside from the stuff I didn't like, I liked the fact that Daniel Garcia got a win here over Danielson. They took the route of protecting him to an extent, which is whatever. Like I think he was protected enough from the fake concussions and shit like that, but it was kind of like in Japanese booking, someone's injured, big first match back, lose. Of course, that's a foreign concept to some people who've only watched certain promotions, but
or don't watch sports at all. Like what do you mean? Like he got cleared by a doctor. Of course, that means that he's 100% where he used to be before the injury happened.
mhm.
We will never put a pro athlete like back onto the playing field, like not exactly like at the same level they were before they left off. That never happens. Oh no.
Kevin Durant 2019 finals never happened.
Yeah. I
Um,
wouldn't even think about that. Just like, do y'all not watch football? Do you think these people like? You think these people are 100% when they go out here? They miss a few weeks and then they come back out. Do you think that? No, you do. You think they're like what they were before they went in the spring train or not spring training, but went into oh my god, what is the word? Mini camp? Really? Really? Okay.
so from there, Garcia basically Garcia and Danielson have a really hard hitting match. At some point, Danielson starts selling like he has a concussion and all that, and I immediately spot it, and I'm like, "Fuck
Yep.
this!" Like, and it's not. I'm not safety policing this or anything like that. I'm not bothered that he or sickened that he tried to do this in pro wrestling. I just thought it was whack.
This is what
I
you
thought
want to
it
see out of
sucked.
Daniel. This is what you see out of Bryan Danielson. You want to see him get up and you want to see him get up and fight. You don't want to see him like just sell forever.
Like that,
Yeah.
and then like they do that whole thing, and then he does the DDT to the floor on the outside of the ring. Daniel Garcia, being a fan of Bill Watts, ripping up the mat, straight concrete out there. DDT's on concrete for the commercial break, right? And I
Ah,
see this, and I'm immediately Jake the Snake, Ricky Steamboat, thinking like, yeah, Steamboat wasn't seen for months after this. Brian's back up fighting immediately, and I'm just like, fuck this. I don't have to just because it's Bryan Danielson, like I don't have to just sit there and watch that and be like it was great. Like no, like I thought this didn't make sense. I thought this was like I thought a lesser wrestler or a lesser statured wrestler would be ripped to shreds for doing this. They would be told they didn't know how to work. They would be told like you need to do whatever. Like you're exposing the business. You'll be doing all this stuff, right? And I saw this and I was
yeah,
just
this textbook. This young kid is doing way too much.
right. And
Yeah.
I thought it was just like I thought it sucked personally. I was just like this is whack. But they continue working the match. Hager comes up out of nowhere, grabs the foot. There's a big submission sequence. Yes, John Cena versus the Nexus with the DDT spot. Yeah,
Yes, yes. That's exactly what the fuck this was.
like bro,
I totally forgot about that.
like I saw this and I was like, I'm looking for the timeline. I'm looking for anyone to talk about it, right? And I'm somewhat reserved on Twitter with my like when I really want to go out the window on something I will, but I didn't see anyone bringing this up. I didn't see anyone talking about this whatever, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I guess I'll just save it for the podcast and then let everybody hear it there. But I didn't like this match.
So, for me, I thought that it was a really good match, and well done. I thought that I didn't like the which, as you mentioned, like the implementation and the selling throughout the match of Danielson has been gone with an undisclosed injury, but you, a smart wrestling fan, knows that when people don't disclose the injuries, we assume that it's either COVID jail or you're in a hyperbaric chamber getting your brain fixed up, right? CTE things.
Right.
So then Danielson then does all these spots to make you think, oh my god, this guy is out here with drain damage, and Garcia's out here going to town on him, and then because it's like, okay, so you're playing on the smart fans' perception and them always having this weird thing with his brain because he had to retire for a year, or was forced to retire for a year and change because of his brain. CTE is God damn it. We can't finish the show with you laughing at the fucking Twitch stream comments.
The Twitch comments are only getting greater. Shout out to you guys.
So yeah, like for that part of me was kind of like it was an eye roller, but the match was great. Or really great, good, whatever you want to call it. So but then the finish happens where it's like, okay, so obviously the excuse is Danielson, he's fighting from underneath because he came back too early, whatever else. Just like we talk about Japanese book, right? And the next thing I know, they get back in the ring, and then a arm grabs Danielson, and you're like, what? And then Danielson loses. He passes out without tapping, as you mentioned. This is the second one of what will be a third one on this taping, where someone gets tapped or someone loses via ref stoppage without tapping out. And then it was revealed that Hager interfered. So it's like, okay, so Garcia, after you've given this man, I don't even know how many main events on Rampage
over the last year. Debuted.
Yeah. I don't know. Tons of main events. All of these spots where he's a number 2 or number 3 in a faction like JSH or JAS. He was the number 1 guy in basically like the Buffalo Boys clique or whatever it was, or not Buffalo Boys clique, but him with 2.0. The Canadians. Yeah, 2.0. He has an upset win over Kingston, all this shit, yada yada. Flash forward to today,
winning for months.
Right. Has to get, gets rolled up by Willer Yuta, the biggest star in the business, in the words of Rich. And like, we get to this point and like, you want to put him over, but then like by you doing one, Danielson is actually really like back too early with injury. And then we have another guy help him fucking cheat. Like, you put him over, but you didn't actually put him over. So it's like, for me, like, got in the way is like, how many condoms do we need to put on Bryan Danielson? Like, and it feels almost like Danielson came back, he wanted to put over Garcia, and he wanted to tell the story about the brain thing that would have been perfectly acceptable as for why he lost his match, right? And then it's almost like it feels like either somebody or more specifically Khan was like, nah, bro, I paid you too much money, you'd be losing to Dan Garcia. You got to also have someone else help him too. 2-on-1 also. And then Danielson was like, fine, fuck. And then went out there and had the match. And like, for me, I'm like, sometimes matches are just really cool and there's matches is to do, right? And that's fine. Other matches are for point of like showing people or changing people's trajectory, right? This one was neither a cool match nor changed anyone's trajectory, and that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. But like, I see I saw the cage match rating for this, and I was like, you thought this is one of like the 50 best matches in the world this year so far? Really? Look, man, I love Daniel Bryanson. Or sorry, Bryan Danielson. This is the first time I've done it in a minute. I love Bryan Danielson as much as y'all do. You know what? I love him enough not to lie. This match was not. This match wasn't as good as fucking like Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega, or Daniel Bryan versus or first in the beginning of the year just Adam Page. This isn't a like what? Why is this so high of a rating? What are y'all doing? This wasn't as good as him and Moxley from what's it called? Or no, get out of here. It was a very good match. You want to call it great? I'm not gonna argue with you, right? It wasn't my cup of tea, but I understand why it went off for people in that way. Acting like it's one of the very, very best matches of the year. No, get out of here.
Comical.
Get out of here.
like I can recognize the work and the match layout and some of the stuff, but there was just things in the match I just couldn't get past. Like, and I thought there was some double standards going on here.
This wasn't like this isn't even the same league as like Osprey and Dax from a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Not even the same league.
Yeah.
No. Or Kyle O'Reilly and Ray Phoenix. Some shit like that. Like, no. Just no. I understand it's a different type of match. Like, no. Even still, no.
Yeah, man. We've got a lot to get to